Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning, Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. And of course, good morning to the entire world. We are going to have a great program for you today. How was your weekend? I trust that you had a weekend. That cold front came in, brothers and sisters. The cold front is here. So you know what? I'm wearing my Politics Done Right hoodie, man, because I'm cold. I'm cold, but you know what? We're going to have a warm program. So forget about the cold for now, because we're going to warm you up with what again? That good old thing called knowledge. Let's all learn together. What is it about? Knowledge. Let's learn together. And in the studio, playing solo again this morning, we have the one and only Jack Van Beber. Good morning, brother Jack. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Egberto. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm doing great. It's a new week. We're going to make this week a week worth having.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about the things in Gaza and the things in Mexico going on, the hurricane and the attack.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided to go with music instead this morning. What a wonderful music. Music, what a wonderful creation. Something melodic, something with a beat, a hard bass line, soothing vocals, and that Telecaster twang. Throw in a Hammond B3 organ, and all you need is a room and a crowd, or maybe just a set of headphones. And then you have magic.
Yes, you got magic. That's the magic of music. And you know what? It's soothing. And you kind of started us out with some soothing music as well as we transition from the previous program to this one. So, I mean, thank you so kindly, my brother. But anyhow, we are going to have a great program for you today. The title of the show, as I pull it up on the screen, is Medicare Advantage Revisited. Why am I talking so? Well, let me give you the title and then I'll go into that. Medicare Advantage Revisited. Christie continues Trump crusades and workers are winning. The subtitle is As Insurance Companies Mislead Americans on Medicare Advantage During the Enrollment Period, We Reprise Social Security Exec Director's Admonition. UAW reaches a tentative deal with Stellantis. It's fallen. The dominoes are falling right now in the favor of the worker. Why? Because they are starting to do what? Something we speak about all of the time. Workers are starting to assert their worth. Repeating, workers are starting to assert their worth. Too often we have looked up to the execs in the companies, the president of the companies, these people that are pushing paper as being the sole stakeholders in these institutions. The corporations, we are just peons, just an upgrade to slavery, which isn't even an upgrade because, again, at least the slaves had to be clothed and dressed and fed and kept healthy because they were capital. Now the worker isn't even that. The worker has to get his own health insurance. The worker has to get his clothes, his food, and you know what? And negotiate the price that's going to be paid to him in wages. And if the execs who really do very little decide they don't want to pay him as much or pay her as much, what happens? Oh, they just live in despair. What's been happening in America since the inception of Reaganomics, supply side economics, trickle down economics? The worker has continuously lost ground. And as we look and tout an economy that is on the rebound, look at all the numbers, they're great. The average American citizen is sitting back there saying, my prices are still high. And all these things they say, and to which many of us, given that we're in a democratic administration now, we don't want to acknowledge certain things that, people are still in pain, and not because the economic numbers say that they're great. Means that it is great for most, because if I have 10 people, and if I have 10 people making $100,000, but one of them's making 90,000, and the rest of the 9 are making the other 10,000. The totality looks great, but the per person, not so great. So what we have to do is something that actually Biden talks about, and that is to make sure that our recovery, that our economy is wide, it's broad, and it is impactful, not to a few, but to all. And right now, it is still just impactful to a few, as the many suffer from the ills of the corporation. So, folks, we are going to talk about all of this, but this is your program. So give us a call, 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. Do remember, we're still in fund drive. We are not yet at our 150,000. We just crossed over the weekend, kind of the halfway mark. Our Politics Done Right program needs to raise a lot. Our chunk of that $150,000 is at least $5,000, and I would love to make it more, because also we know there are shows that are at midnight and 1 and 2 in the mornings that don't have the coverage to make it. So I ask our brothers and sisters who listen to the program, who find value in the program, to really support the program at 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to give, extension number 2 to be on air. Extension number 1 to give, extension number 2 to be on air. I would love you to do both of them. Both give us a call to contribute if you haven't yet. If you have never contributed to the program, if you've never contributed to KPFT, here is a great time. We get extra bonuses for the new subscriber, the new person that comes on and say, I am going to be a new member of KPFT. I'm going to be a new member of the Pacifica Network. I am going to be a new sustaining member by saying I'm going to give at least 1 coffee a month to KPFT. That's $5 a month. I'm going to give 2 coffees a month. That's $10 a month. I'm going to give 3 coffees a month. That is $15 a month. And if you give $25 a month, you get a brick with what you want to say, a 4x8 brick that's going to line our sidewalks. Or if you say, I want a bigger message, a bigger support, $50 a month for our 8x8 brick that lines our sidewalk. Folks, these are many different ways you can support public radio, support community radio, support a station that is there informed. And I saw some messages over the weekend where one person said, I love your music. I don't know about your politics. I love your music. You know what? It's a great thing. And that person still gave. They said they didn't like our politics. But before I even talk about not liking our politics, let me tell you, our politics is not one politics. I am a very progressive guy, but we have folks that are more moderate than I am here. We have folks that are conservative. A lot of the music guys are fairly conservative. We are a community radio station for everybody. Now, it's one of the only stations where somebody like myself pushing a very progressive message, which I think is the message of the people, has a voice, can come out and inform, can come out and enlighten, can come out and enlighten among ourselves. You don't get stations like that all over the place. I mean, this is why this is a gem. You're not going to hear what we discuss about Medicare anywhere else. You're not going to hear what we discuss about the real economy anywhere else. We'll either have the people telling you everything is great, everything is wonderful, or you'll have the people telling you the economy sucks, as opposed to what we go and have a impactful, meaning research opinion. I have, after the fund drive is over, I have a 56-minute interview. I've already played it on the 3 o'clock show, but I'm going to play it here on KPFT. A 56-minute interview that I did with Dr. Richard Wolff, economist Dr. Richard Wolff, that I did on I think it was Thursday or Friday. Very, very impactful interview that will open your eyes, not only open your eyes, but let you remember that you're already empowered as a United States citizen, as a voting United States citizen. 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. Why don't you give us a call now while we are still in this pre-start of the program? Why don't you give us a call now and give that contribution so that I can give you your kudos on air. I love calling the names out and saying, thank you so kindly for supporting community radio. Thank you so kindly for supporting KPFT in the name of politics done right. Please remember, none of these contributions come to yours truly. None of these contributions come to me. They all go to the station in order for the station to pay the electric bills for that 100,000 watt transmitter. Think about if you were burning 100,000 watt continuously 24/7. You know what that electric bill looks like. It also pays all the bills and incidentals that any one company would have. 713-526-5738. I ask you so kindly to become a new member. 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to become a new member, extension number 2 to be on air. Likewise, folks, you can go to kpft.org, kpft.org, hit that donate button, and select whatever level you want to supply or become a member of. You can get our T-shirt, the Politics Done Right T-shirt. It's a $100 contribution. You can get the pumpkin T-shirt, the KPFT pumpkin T-shirt. I think that's also a $100 contribution. Remember, you don't have to pay this all at once. You can become a sustainer, $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month. Remember, these are just saying we want to give KPFT in the name of politics done right, a coffee a month, 2 coffees a month, 3 coffees a month. I mean, I know many of you have cable TV and all of these where you're paying hundreds of dollars a month. Please consider, in order to give, in order to provide what we do, at least a little piece of that to really ensure that community radio remains. All right, the first topic I want to touch on, I'm going to touch on Medicare Advantage second today. I'm going to start with the historic agreement with Stellantis. From Common Dreams, a historic agreement. UAW reaches tentative deal with Stellantis. And here he goes, written by Olivia Rossane. It says, the United Auto Workers have reached a tentative deal with Stellantis, the union announced on Saturday. The news comes 3 days after the UAW announced a tentative agreement with Ford. The union has been on strike against the big 3 U.S. automakers since September 15. In the first ever work stoppage targeting all 3 companies at once. General Motors is now the only one of the 3 that had not yet agreed to a tentative deal. We've achieved what just weeks ago were impossible, UAW President Shawn Fain said in a video post on social media. The power of the stand-up strike cannot be understated. In other words, your power when you're done collectively, your power when done collectively cannot be denied, cannot be ignored. Think about this. The reason the companies, the corporations have power over you, the reason there's income and wealth disparity is because you by yourself never had a voice, but corporations have always had a voice. They don't want you to work together to get a better deal, but they work together as corporations with their different foundations and their different organizations, the Metallurgic Association, the Better Business, the Chamber of Commerce. All of those are unions by a different name. They are all unions by a different name. They are corporations working together to get the maximum they can from your government, from you. But they don't want you to work together to get a better deal from them. In fact, the most ironic thing has occurred, especially here in Texas. Anytime I hear somebody speak negative about the union, it behooves me, because it's almost like saying you don't matter. Anybody who speaks negatively about a union, it's amazing how the corporations have been able to infiltrate one's mind, indoctrinate one's mind that says, hey guys, if you work together, it's a bad thing. And then they tell you, oh, the unions are so corrupt. Brothers and sisters, anytime there is something where there's leadership, etc., and there's money involved, etc., you will find a level of corruption. But you know what democracy does, folks, including democracy in the unions? It gives you the option. It gives you the option to make change. But when you go into a system and you deny yourself the option, when you deny yourself the ability to collectively bargain, what does collectively bargain mean? Several of you come together and show your strength of unity to bargain for a better deal, and that they cannot live without you, that they cannot exist without you, that they cannot produce without you, means they have to work. They have to negotiate with you. I mean, these are people who were taking 40% pay raises, big bonuses. These corporate executives, big bonuses. These shareholders, big dividends. And at the same time, after making record profits, all three of these companies, they tell you, no, but we can't. We take it. We take the pay raise. We take the bonuses. But we can't pay you more because as electric vehicles come about, the profit margin is going to be lower. And if we pay you all that money, we will make less. They go make less even though they make orders of magnitude over you, and you take it. And I'm not talking about auto workers. The auto workers, as the brother said here, they had the stand-up strike. They decided to work collectively to ensure that they as stakeholders got their piece of the pie. And every American citizen, every American worker, every secretary, every garbage collector, every lawyer, every doctor, and right now, notice I even said doctor, high price folks that are now seeing themselves as workers now. Why? Because they still have to pay back their student loans. They have to buy these extraordinarily high insurance rate at the same time that the insurance company is suckering them to tell them, no, we're not going to pay you for the services rendered to your patients. Kudos to Mr. Fain for winning a contract that really improved the life of his workers. And you know what? That is only the beginning. That is only the beginning. We must empower or remind ourselves that we are, in fact, empowered. Folks, 713-526-5738, extension 713-526-5738. Look, we're going to go into Medicare Advantage now. In July, I interviewed Alex Lawson, who is the executive director of Social Security Works. And we discussed Medicare Advantage, which fall under the domain of, our social safety net. And in the process, we discussed Medicare Advantage as we attempt to do here over and over again. I think I played this back in July here on the station. But now that we are in the enrollment period, the period where insurance agents are trying to con Americans into getting Medicare Advantage after their insurance companies' executives bribed the United States government into giving special more monies, etc., to these companies to sell Medicare Advantage. If you notice, every commercial you see, every ad on TV, every second ad or third ad on TV right now is, it's time to enroll Medicare and consider Medicare Part C. Consider Medicare Advantage. I want you to listen to Alex Lawson here, and then we'll come back, discuss it a little bit more. We'll come back again and answer any questions you may have. 713-526-5738. Let me tell you that the interview is 13 minutes long. And I'm going to start it right now. What I want to tell you, however, is to start giving us a call at 713-526-5738. Hit extension 1. Contribute what you can. We are currently still at 0. We need your support to keep being able to bring you this solid information so that you can make the right choices financially, fiscally. So again, 713-526-5738, extension 1 to contribute, extension 2 to be on air. You can also go to kpft.org and select what you want to donate, what gifts you want. And please do remember to select Politics Done Right as the supporting program. And that goes whether you make it a call at 713-526-5738 extension 1, or whether you do it online at kpft.org with the donate button. Without further ado, let's listen to my brother Alex Lawson from Social Security Works about Medicare Advantage and more. I want you to listen in detail. And for my friends who have contacted me and said, "Hey, brother, but I love my Medicare Advantage," I have a message for you too. Please listen to this. We'll take it on the other side. Welcome to another edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willis, your host. Today we're honored once again to have Alex Lawson in the house. This is Mr. Social Security. This is Mr. Medicare for All. This is Mr. Everything having to do with healthcare and your well-being and services. How are you doing, Alex? Welcome to Politics Done Right. How are you doing today?
That's a big introduction. I appreciate it. I'll try to live up to it.
I only do what's right. Anyhow, look, you've been doing a whole lot of work with Social Security Works. You've been doing a whole lot with Medicare Advantage. Now, Medicare Advantage, I consider one of the biggest frauds in America. Before I ask you to extensively go into this issue, there was a time in this country where nobody would insure old people because it cost too much. Or if they did, it cost 3 times as much to insure them. The government did what it was supposed to do and insured people at not an affordable cost, at an 80-20, but they could actually do it. Now, the insurance companies, of course, the government, into somehow the private insurance companies coming back into the fold. Now, what I'd like you to do is run with it.
It's a great setup. So you actually have a lot more of the story than a lot of people, which doesn't surprise me. But I'm going to just sort of reiterate it.
Thank you.
Medicare was not created out of like the goodness of somebody's heart or something, right? Like it wasn't like, oh well, we should only allow seniors to have health. It was because insurers, what they do, the only way they can make money is by taking our premiums and denying our care.
Exactly.
So actuarially, it says in their books that as soon as someone hits the age 65, they have to get rid of them, however they can. Delay their care, deny their care so they die, throw them off your books, don't put them on your books in the first place. Medicare was created because insurance cannot provide health care, private health insurance. So the only way they can make money is by denying care. So when they got back in to the Medicare population, you know how they make their money? Denying care in Medicare. So the problem is that the vast majority of Americans don't know that Medicare Advantage is not Medicare.
Right.
So when they sign up, they're thinking they're getting Medicare. You know, they get sick or they get hurt, they get the care that they need, no hassle. You know, they're happy to leave corporate insurance behind. And then they find out that Medicare Advantage is literally United Health.
Right.
They're denying care. They just come up with crazy names for it, right? Instead of saying we're going to delay your care because we want to kill you, they're going to say, oh, you need a prior authorization from your doctor on that, right? Sorry, the doctor is who sent them there in the first place, right? Why? But they're tricky and they have an enormous amount of money. So it doesn't surprise me that the American people are under this illusion that private health insurance might in some way work, right? Because they don't understand the brutal reality that the way they make money is by denying care. And what that means is we work with a bunch of people. We have all these stories. We're collecting them. If your listeners or viewers have stories, send them to us at Social Security Works, socialsecurityworks.org. My email is alawson@socialsecurityworks.org. We're going to be hitting the Hill. We're bringing personal stories to the Hill on July 25th for the anniversary of Medicare, because we want people to know that as long as the corporate insurers are allowed in the Medicare system, they will be hurting and killing people in the Medicare system. I want to just say that again. It's 100% certain that through delays and denials, they will hurt and kill people by preventing them from getting the care they need.
What I want to put out here, which is very important, is the following. At one time, we were trying to get Medicare, through Medicare, to give dental and to give other forms that Medicare Advantage uses to coerce, right, to coerce people into their product. And secondly, I think it's important to note that the people who administer Medicare Advantage cost more than standard Medicare, yet the government continues to do it because of
corruption is really what it is. Wait, you know how much more? So my favorite thing.
I understand that it was 20%.
Yes. See, I don't even know why I come on your show.
No, let me tell you why you come on to the show, because there is a reason. It's not enough for one person to regurgitate data. It's important for there to be corroboration of everybody's data.
It's true. And I need to come on because I need truth tellers like you, and you have to be armed with the facts. 120%. That's what we overpay.
Right.
United Health.
Right.
The one that everyone hates, the largest corporate insurer in the country. They're the largest corporate insurer in Medicare Advantage.
Exactly.
We pay them $1.20 for every $1 that goes to traditional, original, or what I call actual Medicare.
Right.
And in actual Medicare, at 100%, you know how many delays and denials there are? Yeah.
And that's the reason why, is because you don't have to ask for permission to get the care that you need.
You get it the permission comes from your doctor.
And he's a licensed
doctor. And all the crazy thing is that somehow the belief that you could have the doctor, the patient, and then some corporate bureaucrat in between, and that would make things better.
It is a fallacy. And by the way, we're talking about Medicare Advantage, but this is a fallacy that goes across the entire health insurance spectrum. But we're talking about one that we had carved out for people when they got to that age that they definitely didn't get care. And now they're trying to take that away.
They are. And we know why, too. It's because they're terrified of the progress that we're making on Medicare for All.
Right.
What they want to do is try to make it so that what happens is Medicare Advantage for all, which is just corporate health insurance for all. It's no different.
Yeah.
So they're trying to cut us off at the pass. And what we have to do two things. We have to fight every day for guaranteed health care for every single person in this country. If you get sick, you get the care you need. No deductible, no premiums, right? This is a system that all of our peer nations have. Don't tell me we can't do it when all these other countries
spending
can.
So much more money on it. So whenever, I find it amusing because it was well, in Canada, you have wait. My daughter had an appointment that she made. She had to wait 2 months to get to the doctor. In Canada, wait a minute, but Canada spends half the money or quite a bit less money than we spend on healthcare, and their wait is no more than our wait.
Right.
Right. And for emergencies, they get care. We may get care.
Maybe. Yeah.
We may get care. Now, one of the issues, again, I mentioned the dental, ears, and eyes before, and a lot of the selling points of Medicare Advantage is they'll tell folks you have no premium to pay as opposed to an 80-20 up to a certain limit. And it scares people like, oh, I can get everything covered, not realizing that not because you got everything covered for the price of Medicare that somehow you're going to get care. It really means that you won't get care. Many a times you can renegotiate your 20% off in real Medicare. And nobody talks about that.
So I'm thinking because this is a really boring answer, but it's maybe the most important. And you opened it up exactly correctly, but there's one thing that you're missing. So with that 80-20, what a lot of people have to do is they buy a gap insurance. So they buy another private insurance product that covers that 20%. And the reason is because you could be on the hook. It's an unlimited liability, right? 20% of some $5 million care and it bankrupts them. Right. So that is one of the main selling points that Medicare Advantage uses.
Exactly.
It's dental vision. Yes, for sure. And they don't even provide real dental or vision.
It's a
fake.
figment of the imagination. Yeah.
But the real one that they really push. And so what we need to fix on our side,
80-20.
and it's an out-of-pocket cap in traditional Medicare. Right. So there's a bunch of ways we can get there, but what we need to do is equalize that. So we need to fight for Medicare Advantage, but we also need to fight. We need to fight for Medicare for all, but we need to fight a rear guard battle against Medicare Advantage, right? So it's at the same time.
Exactly.
We have to be equalizing the playing field for traditional Medicare. We can't allow Medicare Advantage to continue to rip us off at 120%. And all of this work is critical for that getting to Medicare for all. We have to do them at the same time. So I want to just tell you, and you spread the word, and maybe we can come up with a better way of talking about it. You say 80-20, I like that. But it's that out-of-pocket cap.
Actually, the out-of-pocket makes a lot. Actually, it's better. 80-20 is a numerical thing. Americans understand what's my out-of-pocket. So that's a better actually thing to say.
And what we could do, obviously, is we could take some of that overpayment, the 120%. Let's bring that down to 100. Let's take that 20. Put it into traditional Medicare, add the vision, the hearing, the dental, and the out-of-pocket cap. I mean, that's just simple.
It is not only simple, but again, you get out of, if we're paying 120% already don't that tell you that we have another 20% buffer to mess with? And it's near 50% conversion already. It's crazy.
It is. And the good news is, though, I will tell you that we are making progress on the rear guard actions against Medicare Advantage. We have made more significant progress in the last year and a half than I've been doing this for 7 years. I've been walking the halls, ringing the bell, being like, be worried.
I remember when you started because it was something that I've always been with when it comes to healthcare, because of family history, etc. I always understood the concepts.
Yeah, and thank you for it. And you're following it, and I love coming on your show because your audience are awesome. And they should know on July 25th, so for Medicare's birthday, we're going to be coming into DC. We've got over 50 retirees that we're busing in from New York and other places. We're going to be saturating the Hill. And we're going to be telling this story. We have people who have family members that they have lost because United Health has denied them care. We have people who've been harmed, and we're going to walk them around.
That is the message we need. I tell you what, when you're doing that, I would love for some of you to be out there doing what we need to do to actually push that all over.
Yeah.
Because it's important for the senators and the Congress people to understand that this is not just going to be one day up the hill they have to tolerate and then it goes away. It has to be something continuous. Look, Alex, give me a closer.
Well, I want everyone involved. Your audience are the best, as you know. So they can come to socialsecurityworks.org, find out everything we're doing there. Fighting against insurance is one part of it. High drug prices is another. And we are taking it to pharma right now, but they are coming back with a vengeance. So we need everybody right now to just lean into all of our fights because the possibility of winning is real if we fight.
Alex Lawson, Director of Social Security Works. Thank you so kindly for having been on Politics Done Right.
Thank you.
All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. But if you have questions, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Extension number 2 for us to take your call on air. Extension number 1 to contribute to the program. So far, my dear brothers and sisters, we don't have any contributors for this morning. Remember, we have to make over $375 a day now to catch up. We are still behind in our fund drive, as we always are for some reason. We, as a community radio station, don't get what the right wing gets in collection. You know, somebody asked me the other day, Berto, how comes everything we see on TV is kind of gives us the wrong message? How comes everything we see on TV is generally right wing or telling us that the conservative values are where America at, even though we know that most Americans are the values that they support, the things that they want are the things that progressive given nature. And my thing is, we don't have the mega pipes. We don't have the monies to do to tell the truth, as does many in our plutocracy. Good morning, Patricia E. Forker. Welcome to Politics Done Right on the Internet. So that is the reason, folks. Many times we complain about not getting the right politicians there. Many times we complain about not getting the truth. Many times we complain about many of these issues. But folks, I want you to think about it. When was the last time you went to a Starbucks and you saw a lot of people like you spending a lot of money? When was the last time you went to a theater? When was the last time you sat down and watched Disney or Apple TV or all these other stations to entertain yourself? I'm pretty sure most of us do a lot of all of that. And we don't have a problem giving that monthly to that corporation because we're trained that way, right? That's how we feel. Giving that money to these corporations, many of times to mislead us, to misinform us, to ill-inform us. But as a Politics Done Right or a progressive forum or as a U-Talk that's out there, we're working. We want to make sure you're informed, but we are limitedly funded. That makes it more difficult for us to get the truth out. And in not getting the truth out, many Americans are there making bad decisions, bad financial decisions, bad social decisions, bad governmental decisions, because they just don't have the information. It's not their fault. But those of you who have the wherewithal, who can afford to do so, you're not throwing your money when you put it to a KPFT into the wind. You're making a difference. You're making sure that we can inform some of your peers, some of your families, some of your friends, some of your coworkers, some of your acquaintances, that we collectively together can make a difference. That's why we need you to call 713-526-5738 and hit extension 1 to contribute. I still want to hear from you. Then call back, hit extension number 2 to talk on air. We need your support. We simply cannot, we will not make it without your support. It is essential that the public supports us because we don't get anything from the government. We don't get anything from the corporation. We get it all from you. 713-526-5738. That's how we can make a difference. Let's go to Augie. Now, before Augie even speaks, I want to talk about Augie being one of our great contributors to this station. If we had 1,000 Augies, we would never have to ask the several hundred thousands that listen to us every month for another dime. If we had people who saw the value in what we do, like Brother Agustin here, we would be in great shape. Maybe 3,000 of Agustin would be great. Come on in, Augie. How you doing this morning, sir?
Right. Good morning, Egberto. And you're right about we're not just one-sided political talk show. I know we've had at least 3 Republican programmers and a Libertarian who vote straight ticket Republican. But about as far as Medicare, when you had that recording, there was crosstalk on it, and I had to really concentrate on what the guy was saying. But it's stuff that's been said before, and it's great that he's going to have these people come on talking about how bad it is. But we've had all this before. when Obama was pushing that Affordable Care Act, there was a Senate hearing. It was on C-SPAN, and I just happened to be home by chance flipping channels when I came across this Senate hearing, talking about the horror stories of the American medical system. And like you said, people died. They had sisters died. They had people that really needed emergency care, but it was denied because of these corporate healthcare. Well, it's really not healthcare, but that's the disguise they use, taking everybody's money. And it was created by Republicans. There's a recording of Nixon the day before he got kicked out of office, a staffer coming in, asking him to sign a piece of paper. And he asked him, what's the paper about? Oh, it's creating HMOs. What's the HMO? It's Health Maintenance Organization. Oh, yeah? How does it make its money? And the staffer told him it makes its money by denying their customers health care. Denying them health care and still making money? That's great. Let me sign that piece of paper. And medical care went from being a service type of occupation to a for-profit occupation. And if you go to a hospital that says it's a for-profit hospital, you better believe it. It's a for-profit. It's for the money. It's not for the patient.
Augie, let me tell you something. And I have no problem with profitable corporations. I have no problems with companies making money. I have no problems with people making money from profits on businesses they create on their own. But we must separate certain parts of our economy that should not be profit dependent. I mean, you being sick and making it that there is an institution who profits from either your illness or your death. That is inhumanity. That is what our economic system breeds. We should have a bifurcated economy where there are some parts that do not belong in the for-profit domain. And the fallacy that we must have that for innovation is just that, a fallacy. The people who invent things in this country aren't shareholders in the aggregate. The people who create things aren't executives. They're just creative people who want to build something. So whenever they say we must have these obscene profits to ensure that creativity remains, that we get creativity, it's the biggest fallacy you have ever heard. And it's been indoctrinatively placed in our minds. And it's something I hope people listening to folks like yourself, Alex Lawson, Exec Director of Social Works, and others will get in their minds so that we can really start having the type of healthcare we deserve. Augie, anything else before I jump to Harry?
Yeah, and there's a lot of doctors that don't like it. And
right.
Some of them, doctors are leaving the profession. I had a great primary care doctor when I first moved here. He was Canadian. And every time I went to go see him, we talked about a lot of stuff. And one of the things he talked about was HMOs and the healthcare system here in the United States. He got so tired of it that after 3 years, he went back to Canada.
Yeah.
And before he left, he told me they train doctors in Canada different than they do here in America. In America, they give you a lot of tests. In Canada, they learn to listen to the patient. And that's something to think about. Thanks for all you do, Berto.
Well, look, Augie, thank you. Before you leave, Augie, I want to thank you for all the support that you give to the station. I like to give credit where credit is due. We need a whole lot more of you doing the kind of things that you do, not only financially for the studio, but your voice at the studio and for being there at the studio. Thank you so kindly, my brother.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, let's go to Harry. Come on in, Harry.
Good morning, Roberto. I trust you had a good weekend with your family.
Yes, I had a great weekend. My two nieces came in. One had surgery, and she's spending some time with us as she recovers. And, we had a lot of time to talk. So, I had my laptop and my stuff, making sure we still got stuff done. Got quite a few blogs out. But yes, I enjoyed my weekend, especially because I had these two beautiful nieces over here and talking with them and her husband. It was great. So anyway, how was your weekend, Sir Harry?
Oh, it's my typical routine weekend, going to church, keeping God in my life, getting messages from the pastor, being around my church friends, and everything was good except for, I do watch NFL football, and unfortunately, I'm a longtime Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and my Steelers lost, and one of my closest friends always gives me a hard time when the Steelers lose. His Las Vegas Raiders are up tonight, and I've been saying that they're not doing very well. So if they lose tonight, then I can return the favor when I text him.
There you go. But hey, talk to me, Harry. I got Art waiting in line, so talk to me, my brother.
I'll talk about the UAW thing. I am happy that I mentioned that last week on your show that they got their deal with UAW and with their employer, and I hope I hope and pray that General Motors gets their better deal, so they're not being ripped off and squeezed. And I'm glad that Stellantis got theirs as well. And you just have to keep fighting, because as I always say on this show, and I tell people, the unions are your friends; they're not your enemies, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise.
Go for it, brother. Next subject.
Now on the Medicare Advantage, we have to, like I've been saying, listen to Arnie Arneson, who comes on before you, because we always talk about how you don't want to be squeezed. Listen to Roberto Willis. Listen to Ralph Nader. If you can, listen to Tom Hartman. These people are truth tellers, and kudos to Alex Lawson. As he said, an enlightening fool, he tells the truth. Because these people, these corporations, like you're saying, and these bureaucrats, it's like a line from, did you ever see the movie Falcon and the Snowman?
No, I haven't. But that's okay. Yeah,
I'll recommend that. I'll recommend that to you. There's a line, and that was a true story. Those two people, I can't, let me see.
That's what, don't worry about it. We got to go to the other caller, so tell me real quick.
Okay. All right, let me hurry up. They talk about, Dalton Lee talked about rich people who die with the most toys wins. And that's what these bureaucrats that have offered you Medicare Advantage are about. They want people out the door at 65 and deny regular people health care who can't afford it, so they can get their expensive toys and die rich. They want to live
Thank you, Harry. Harry, I got you. Harry, as usual, you have wise words. Wise words. Thank you so kindly for calling in, my brother, Harry. Let's go to Art. Come on in, Art.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Warm. So real quick, just my experience I went to vote, and I took my niece, her first time voting. She had no clue who to vote for. So we went over a few things, and I said, what do you think about this guy? And I had no influence with her. And I said, what do you think? And she just didn't really have an interest at all. I said, you know what? I'll tell you who to vote for. And I did. And she voted exactly how I told her. Now, that might piss or upset a lot of people. But this is what I thought. I'm planting the seed. If she has a day of regret because, my uncle, I can't believe I listened to him, then she'll take her vote serious next time. That's what I thought. And
Art, let me interrupt you, Art. Art, please let me interrupt you here, because I want to shake your hands over the air right now. Shake your hands. I think you just nailed it. You said she was completely oblivious to voting. You took her to vote and you told her who to vote for since she was oblivious to vote. So she reflected you. But here's what's better that you've said. If later on she finds out she hated the people that you told her to vote for, the one good thing that would come out there is that she would see the reason to be politically engaged so that she would make the right decision on her own. I'm going to tell you, I am with you, brother. I am absolutely with you.
That's what we got to do. We got one of your callers, a culture of voting, I think it was, or election, something like that.
Yes.
That's got to create that, and they have to take it serious. Yes, it's I know we live in Houston and in Texas, but I mean, get them engaged. Locally, there are some important amendments that caught me off guard. And we went over it, and lady, the people there were okay that we were sharing screens. I would go over it, and she was like, I don't know. I was like, well, here, put this. Yeah. So whenever the next election is, that's what I guess presidential's next.
Right. That would be the next. Well, actually, the primaries come in I think March here in Texas.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So more pamphlets coming in the mail.
Oh yeah. Look, we are. Hey, if you think it's bad now, Art, wait till next year. It's gonna be crazy, and that's where our importance here at KPFT is going to be of a big value, and that's why we're asking. Thank you very much, first, Art. Let me let you go so I can do a quick pitch here. Okay, my brother. Thank you for calling. All right. Anyway, folks, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. For the topics that we were supposed to cover that we didn't cover, specifically the one dealing with Christie, you can always go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Everybody gets a newsletter from us at 5 in the mornings with what we're going to cover, along with the links to the videos and everything else that we have for the program, whether we showed it on air or not, you get that. So politicsdoneright.com/newsletter is where you can find that. Now, what I want to ask our people, we're still at a donut, and I know, based on how sometime our funds come in for Politics Done Right, I know several times you don't want to break from the show to go ahead and call to donate, and you donate after the show. And sometimes what happens there is, instead of our program getting credit for that, it goes to the subsequent programs. So I ask again that whenever you contribute, you make sure to state that if you go to kpft.org, make sure to state that it's for Politics Done Right that you're contributing. Likewise, please remember to, if you call 713-526-5738 extension 1, please remind them that this is a contribution for Politics Done Right. And again, it doesn't come to me. It's something that goes entirely to the station, not to Egberto, directly to the station. Welcome aboard, Eric Hayes on the internet. But yes, people. So please give us a call, 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute, extension number 2 to be on air. We're still at a big 0. I'm going to think positive. I'm going to think that as soon now that, by the way, I'm done with the orderly program. I'm done talking about healthcare and Medicare Advantage. I'm done talking about the worker rights now. All I'm going to be doing between now and the end of the program is to ask you and tell you why I am asking you so kindly to contribute to the station. 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute, or go to kpft.org to contribute to the program. Let me tell you, folks are offer. Let me see if Jack has the ability to talk now. I know he's busy making sure the strings and everything is connected in there, but if he has something to say, Jack.
Yeah. We had a little bit of technical difficulty sometimes with our fund drive phones, our answering service, and that's kind of put us behind. So we need to make that up. The people that call in, if you got frustrated trying to make your pledge, please call back, because we need you. We need our listeners. We love our listeners, and we need the contributions. We are running a bit behind this fund drive. So if you could, pony up.
713-526-5738, extension number 1. Like I mentioned before ad nauseum, folks, look, I know asking you to contribute to the station, and, everybody's asking you for money. The politicians are asking you for money. The charities are asking you for money. And now you have KPFT that is asking you for money. Here's the thing. You partition your given dollar, right? I partition. Now that I'm a full-time activist, I don't command the kind of income that I had as the owner of Willie's Computer Software Company and etc. But there's one thing that I always believed in, and that is I decide how much money I can give, and I make sure to always give money, always, because I always believe that we have to, and it doesn't have to be a lot. I give to the party a few bucks every month. I give to several charities like the not the United Way, but the Habitat for Humanity and all these different things. Not a lot, but I feel a responsibility to start to do a little something in all these charities that are doing good work around the country, around the world. And also, of course, I am a $10 a month contributor for KPFT, of course, under the name of Politics Done Right. But and the reason why is the value that I know this provides. And it's not about, I love when one person give $1,000 or a person gives $5,000. I'd love somebody to be an angel and give this program $1,000 today. I would love that, right? But I tell you, I also see the great value. Not also, the great value is in having hundreds, thousands of people say, I'm going to give a little bit, $5 a month, $10 a month, or just a one-time $50 contribution, a one-time $25 contribution, a one-time $100 contribution. Anyway, any form, it's just a matter of receiving from the public at large. Being a person that says, I want to do something, especially for what we are given, what we are offering. Jack Van Beber drives from near Galveston every morning, 5 days a week on his own dime. We to KPFT studios in town. I spend hours preparing the videos and the program and the newsletter, etc., to make sure that we are given information that we know the mainstream media is not given. We enhance what the good part of the mainstream media is doing to give it the proper context. That's what we do. And it's worth it because people are informed. It's worth it because you get the ability to make an informed decision. So I ask you to call 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute. Extension number 2, well, we are not taking any more calls on here right now. So extension number 1 to contribute, 713-526-5738, or please go to kpft.org now and give in the name of Politics Done Right, whatever you can, whether it's a sustaining one time, get a t-shirt, get something, just make it a reason to say, I want to be a part of a solution. I got to get out of here. So I'm going to ask Jack Van Beber for a closer.
UAW people, you keep out there on that strike and you fight. And the people out there join a union. That's how you protect your rights.
Absolutely, folks. 713-526-5738, extension number 1. My name is Egberto Willies. I want to thank Jack Van Beber, Augie, and Harry, and Art, and all the callers that called in. Thank you so kindly for your ears. Thank you for your voice. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.